Lawmakers, of course, have been weighing in. Reaction from leaders on Capitol Hill has been rather split. Some say the president made the right decision. Others say Congress should have been involved. Fox's Chad Pergram now with that part of the story for us.
The debate is if Congress should even have a role. The president is commander-in-chief, but the Constitution gives Congress the power to declare war. It's a political kaleidoscope. Democrats who usually oppose President Trump endorse bombing Iran.
I've been saying, oh, hell yes, for I think it's almost 6 weeks.
This window is open now. We can't take our boot off their neck.
But preemptive strikes could devolve into a broader conflict.
The idea that one strike is going to be adequate, that it's going to be one and done, I think is a misconception. Bipartisan House members just returned from Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain.
They are worried that this will escalate, and it wouldn't take a whole lot for it to spiral out of control.
Those nations don't want Iran to go nuclear, but also hope for diplomacy.
The ask was for de-escalation, to be able to see Iran come back to the table.
The Reagan Institute summer survey found that 84% of those polled don't want Iran to get nuclear weapons. 66% root for a negotiated truce. A Fox poll found that 73% of people see Iran as a threat. Kentucky Republican Thomas Massie and California Democrat Ro Khanna wanted Congress to bar the U.S. from attacking Iran.
If the Democratic Party is not a party opposing the war in Iran, then I don't know what we stand for. This party needs to be clearly against another war in the Middle East.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says, quote, President Trump can only fire on Iran if Congress gives him, quote, explicit approval. But not all Democrats agree.
The president does what the president wants to do. That's what's always happened with military interventions.
Virginia Democrat Tim Kaine will compel a Senate vote this week on if the U.S. should have intervened. In Washington, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
For further context and perspective on all of this, the debate over whether Congress is needed to take certain actions like striking Iran, it's been going on for decades, long before President Trump was ever on the political scene. Limits on presidential power to use military force are outlined not just in the Constitution, but also within the War Powers Resolution of 1973. We spoke to David Cole, an attorney specializing in constitutional law, about this. Listen.
The president is where the buck stops on foreign policy. And so throughout our nation's history, presidents have deployed the American military without a whole lot of advance warning when they've seen an urgent need to do so. Now, the Constitution also says expressly that the power to declare war is a congressional power. And the last time we had a formal declaration of war in this country was December 8th, 1941. While Congress may or may not be wanting to fund an extended deployment in the Middle East, there's no way this is going to lead to impeachment. And so, as a practical matter, the president has latitude here, both because of history and because there's just no way to stop it in our constitutional structure. The court's not going to do it, and Congress has only got a couple of levers to pull.
So we were also curious what the move means for other nations in the Middle East. We talked to a political science expert at SMU. Listen to this.
Well, they've provided rhetorical support to Iran. They've condemned the United States action. They've called for restraint. That's to be expected. It would not behoove them to actually get involved in this conflict in any sort of direct way. Now, if Iran tries to reconstitute its military after the damage that it has sustained, potentially you could see Russia in particular be an arms supplier. But don't forget that Russia is involved in a major conflict of their own right now.
Wilson also discussed oil experts with Fox 4 and what that means for you and me. He says that the Strait of Hormuz potentially being closed would actually hurt China more than us. Out in an abundance of caution, Governor Greg Abbott posting on X, Texas is elevating the readiness of our Texas Department of Public Safety troopers and Texas National Guard, increasing patrols around high-risk locations and ensuring our state is fully prepared to address any threat, adding at this time there is no need to worry.
A North Texas community is rallying behind a family who suffered a devastating loss. 3 siblings were in a horrific car crash this past week in Wise County. 2 did not survive, and the 3rd is recovering in a hospital. Amelia Jones has more.
Sometimes when tragedy hits and we don't know what to say.
Right now, I think most of us are in shock.
We show our love in the form of flowers, ribbons, and signs.
I think this week and the weeks to come, it'll increasingly become more real.
David Lowry is a pastor at First Baptist in Decatur. He's helped many people get through tough times.
I've been a pastor for 43 years, and this has been one of the most difficult weeks that I've ever experienced.
Monday, around 6:45 in the morning, 16-year-old Sophia Christensen was driving with her 13-year-old brother Nolan in the passenger seat and 12-year-old sister Ella in the back. The three siblings were heading to a summer athletic practice. Texas DPS says the Christensens' 1994 Ford F-150 pickup pulled out to cross Highway 380 from Private Road 4011 in front of a Freightliner trailer. The Freightliner hit the Ford pickup, then overturned, ending in the median of the highway in Decatur. The pickup slid off the road onto the shoulder.
In a moment of time, their lives were radically changed.
13-year-old Nolan Christensen died at the scene. 16-year-old Sophia later died at the hospital, and 12-year-old Ella is recovering at the hospital and is expected to survive. The unimaginable loss sent shockwaves through the tight-knit Decatur community. Sophia and Nolan were both athletes and very involved at First Baptist Church. Lowry says hundreds of people showed up at the church Monday night to pray for the family, and an online fundraiser has already raised more than $60,000.
Sort of tells you how deeply these kids connect with the community, how much their parents are loved in the community.
Especially by those who were friends and teammates of Sophia and Nolan.
What's interesting is when this happened, all of those different circles of friends became like one. And in this moment, it just like time stopped. And the kids began to deal with the fact that life is so fragile and that they need each other.
And Lowry says the parents hope the bright light their kids left behind continues to guide others, and their deep-rooted faith continues to inspire them.
I think that's the message the parents want, is to see the faith these kids had and to inspire others to trust God in similar ways.
Amelia Jones, Fox 4 News.
Yes, Brandon, the bill would have prevented smoke shops here from selling vapes, gummies, and other THC-infused products. Now, while the governor says the bill was well-intended, he does not believe it was constitutional. Senate Bill 3 would have outlawed Delta 8 and 9 and become one of the most restrictive THC bans in the country. It garnered support from Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who says the lack of regulations make the products unsafe. Critics of the ban, including many veterans groups and business owners in the state's multi-billion-dollar industry, call it a government overreach. In his veto message, the governor claims the bill would never hold up in court and Texas would be halted from enforcing THC restrictions in the meantime. He says if it were passed, it would prohibit anyone from manufacturing, distributing, or possessing consumable THC, even if the products are in line with what's federally allowed. His concern is the state would implicate farmers growing hemp legally, pharmacists stocking health supplements, parents caring for epileptic children, or veterans treating PTSD, all which is federally legal. Now, although the governor did veto that bill, the issue is not over yet. He's calling for a special session to start on July 21st and address Senate Bill 3. Reporting live in Allen, I'm Peyton May for Good Day.
A federal judge plans to order the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He's accused of making more than 100 trips between Texas and Maryland to smuggle migrants. In a ruling yesterday, the judge denied the U.S. government's motion to keep Garcia in custody before his trial on human smuggling charges. Garcia is not expected to go free, as U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement will likely detain him. An appeal had already been filed. Garcia, who initially entered the country illegally, was mistakenly deported to El Salvador, which has caused backlash over President Trump's immigration crackdown. Garcia pleaded not guilty to smuggling charges June 13th. The judge has scheduled a hearing for Wednesday to discuss the conditions of his release.
2 children are dead after a boat capsized at a lake in Henderson County. Their bodies recovered just before midnight.
Yeah, that boat tragedy happened 60 miles southeast of Dallas on Cedar Creek Lake. TC Mazinga now live in the studio with the latest on this tragedy. TC.
Good morning, guys. Rescue teams had said that they were planning to search for the bodies all night if they had to. They were able to recover the bodies of 2 young girls at Cedar Creek Lake just before midnight. Now, these videos may be hard to watch for some, but at a Fox 4 viewer sent us videos from the scene at Cedar Creek Lake in Henderson County, so you can see the strong waves and rough waters as well. Lieutenant Randall Newkirk with the Toole Volunteer Fire Department tells us the battery on the boat died. The 21-foot boat then flipped over around 10 p.m. last night. Now, the group of people were trying to get back to the dock. A 3-year-old girl and a 5-year-old girl drowned. 10 adults survived and were able to make it to safety on their own. And it's unclear if anyone was wearing a life jacket, but officials always encourage people to wear a life jacket when spending time near a lake. Now, we're told some people on the boat are Mansfield residents, and they were visiting family members who lived near Cedar Creek Lake. We expect an update from the Henderson County Sheriff's Office later this morning. For Good Day, I'm TC Muzinga.